Welcome to Table for One. I'm the narrator, and in today's video, I'll be unboxing Six Sojourns. And this is the Deluxe Edition. Let's get rolling. Alright, so I'm all set up to unbox my deluxe edition of Six Sojourns, and I will also be showing you the add-on of these wooden sea serpents as well. And so this is a game by Red Raven Games. This is the first game that I've gotten from them that is outside of the Sleeping Gods series. But apparently it won't be the last because I just backed Song of Silveranth on crowdfunding, so that'll be coming in a couple years. But Six Sojourns is a 1 to 4 player area control game, and so this just delivered on crowdfunding. I backed it not quite a year ago, and it actually delivered about a month early, so that doesn't happen very often. That's pretty exciting. Let me show you the box here, and there's a couple things I want to show you. First, it's a really deep game box. The height, I guess, is really tall. And I have, for comparison here, actually, the Sleeping Gods Primeval Peril. If I start this way, these are the same footprint, Primeval Peril and Six Sojourns. But if I tip it up this way, Primeval Peril is a little less than half of the depth of this. So I could take two Primeval Perils on top of each other, and Six Sojourns would still be a little bit taller. So just to give you some indication of the scale. And then to make another Red Raven comparison, here's the original Sleeping Gods box. You can see, it's obviously smaller. Six Sojourns is smaller than Sleeping Gods by some margin. But if I tip it up this way, it's actually, the game box for Six Sojourns is actually taller than Sleeping Gods. So it's kind of a sizable box, but the smaller footprint means it fits, at least in my cabinets, really easily. Let me show you the back of the box too here, just so you can kind of see what some of what's going on here component wise. So it's gonna be a lot of wooden components, the cardboard punch out. So I'm gonna have upgraded wooden deluxe tokens because this is the deluxe version. And then we've got the game board here. And I think there's 3 double-sided game boards in here. So there was some stretch goals for more game boards. So that's going to be pretty cool. All the art is, the Ryan Lockett art. I like that style personally. So that's what we've got going on here. Let me start to get this thing open. So a little tougher to tell on camera, but there is some nice like gold foil work on this box. I think that's probably a deluxe edition only type thing. I don't think that's on the retail box, but maybe I'm wrong. Certainly, there's going to be some component differences. The gameplay content will be the same, I think, either way. I think. Let me I'll pause in a second here and double-check the old crowdfunding campaign just to see if it mentions that. But let's get the plastic wrap off of here. Yeah, and let me correct myself. So there were a few editions of this game. There were originally just the retail and the deluxe, but then they made like a retail gameplay version or expansion version. So there's a bunch of expansions for Six Sojourns, and the expansions can come in both a deluxe edition and a standard retail edition. But I don't think if you were to just go buy a standard retail box of Six Sojourns, I don't know that all the expansions would be included, and I don't know that they're available separately. But just so you know, let's get this thing open anyway and see what's going on. I actually stopped at the Red Raven booth at Gen Con this year, and they had a copy of this, and Ryan Lockett was there and was kind enough to let me dig through it a little bit. So I've gotten to see some of this stuff already, but here's all the wooden components. Lots of little bags inside a giant bag. You know what? That works. Ooh, and here are the metal coins. Very nice. I'll be opening these as well. And as I mentioned, I've also got these wooden sea serpent tokens. I got these for free by following the crowdfunding campaign. I think they were also available for people who didn't follow it. They're available as like a $5 add-on. So this did not come in this box, but I'll go through it with the rest of these components. Let's start probably with the rule book. How to play. So as I said, it's an area control game, and it does support solo play. It didn't when the campaign launched, and when they added it, that was a big deal for me. So you're going to have some coins, 1s and 5s, some upgrade tokens, some trade tokens. We've got some cards, looks like 90 cards, double-sided game board, and then a bunch of wooden tokens. There are houses, boats, and people. Here's the setup instructions, how to play, your turn, your actions, gain people, build a house, build the boat, move. There are towers, game end, card abilities, expansion rules. These are specific rules for the expansions. Volcano and economy expansions. The economy one seems really interesting. Expansion maps. Simultaneous mode, solo mode, and yeah, there are 4 double-sided game boards. I think I said 3. There's 4: A and B, C and D, E and F, G and H. Artwork looks really cool on these. How long was that rulebook? That was not too bad, even with solo mode. 15. This is page 16. I wonder if there's a secondary book in there with more detail on the expansions, because that didn't seem like enough. That seemed real quick. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe that's all there is to it. Put that there. We've got our cardboard punch-outs next. And I will say that even with the cardboard punch-outs, I did not notice any lid lift on the box before opening it. So should have no trouble fitting everything. These are big punch-outs for the economy expansion. So the economy expansion is this whole board. And normally I think you need like just a handful of coins in this game. But when you play the economy expansion, like, I don't know what this is, but 60, 70, 80, 90, all the way up to 120 coins per player mat. So you need a ton of coins for that expansion. These are, looks like lava and a volcano for the volcanoes expansion. What else have we got? A lot of lava. These mountains, I think that's an expansion. Shrines is an expansion, I'm pretty sure. Here's the sea serpents as tokens, but we've got the wooden pieces. Airships, we've got wooden pieces of those as well. I mean, these shrines and the mountains, the volcanoes, we've got wooden upgrades of all those as well. All right, that's cool though. I'm going to set these aside for the moment. And then we've got our boards here. Which are going to be, looks like a little tricky to get out, but here's 1, 2, these look like quad fold boards. 3, what is going to be under these? And 4, ooh, that looks nice. We'll come back to the boards. I will show both sides of all 4 boards. But let's see what's down here. Look at the inside of the box. Isn't that nice? Love when there's nice artwork on the inside. You know, I usually check this, and I don't think I did here. Is there anything? Yeah, look at that. Like the one time I forgot to flip it right away. There's really nice artwork in there. Love that. That's great. Okay. So we've got a bunch more bags. Oh, yeah. I remember hearing something about this and then forgetting about it. Little tuck boxes. Exploration, mountains, shrines, airships, and volcanoes. Base cards and score pad. Places, specialties, upgrades, values, and feuds. Trade tokens, sea serpents, simultaneous and solo modes. That's convenient. They didn't have to do that. So we've got some nice tuck boxes, and then it looks like some score pads. And they appear to be the same. It just comes with 2. There's plenty in there as well. I'll probably still not use them. My phobia of using score pads. So I'll set these aside, but it does come with 2 with a good number. So I don't know if that's, I have no idea how to guess that, but I bet it's 100 pieces of paper there, but I still have a fear of scarcity, so I won't use them. And then 3 packs of cards. The single-use plastic makes me a little sad. Let's check. Back of these cards are the same, so these must be regular cards. I wonder if this is expansion type stuff. This says Fierce Feuds on this side. I wonder if there's a solo deck in here maybe. I'll have to figure out exactly what's going on with these cards. So some sort of cardboard storage in there. I haven't figured out how everything's going to go yet. For the moment, let me put all of this stuff in here and set it aside. And let me grab the booklet. And now let's look at some game boards. So this is board A. And so a couple things you might notice. We've got these numbers running down one side. So there is a market of cards, and you can buy cards, and as you buy them, you know, kind of typical for a market, they'll move down and become less expensive. So the new cards will be more expensive, and there's a little bit of an interplay with your opponents where, well, if I wait to buy that card, it'll become cheaper, but it's possible my opponent will buy it now before it comes back to my turn. So there's some of that element. There's a bunch of trade goods you can get, and I think by having the most of certain goods, you can score points that way. I don't remember the particulars, but then you'll see the map is split up into different regions, and the water is separated as well. So what you're basically doing on this game is you're putting people on the map and building homes and building ships, and you use the ships to spread out to other islands, and you're trying to occupy more territory than your opponents. And then I think there are other additional variable goals that can make it pretty fun. Like, you know, you want to control that tower, it's worth extra points, but you know, you might not by default want to go that way because there's not a lot of land on that island as opposed to this big one here. So that seems pretty interesting. Let's flip it over and see board B. Sort of a similar motif, but we've got this nice waterfall, this big tower here, this arch, there's a crater. There's just a lot of really nice stuff to look at. I like the color palette. Oh, that's pretty cool. So definitely, you know, again, you get that Ryan Lockett art style. It's Sleeping Gods reminiscent. I think this is board B is, yeah, what we're seeing on the inside of the box here. So that is board B. Let's move on to the next one. So here's map C. This one's got volcanoes all over it. I wonder how that interplays with the volcano expansion. I'd be curious. So this is, you know, more of a desert map. I like the style of this building here. This lighthouse is kind of like a coliseum over here. Pretty interesting stuff. And that's interesting. Of the three maps we've seen so far, this is the first one that has one piece of land contiguously go all the way across the map horizontally, dividing the water into separate pieces. And let's flip it over to map D. Clearly a big volcano on this one and the center one. And this one's kind of cool. I actually don't remember which way it goes. I think everyone starts on their own island, and then you can try and move in to control the center, as opposed to some of the other maps. I think everyone starts on the central landmass. Then you can kind of go out and try and explore these other islands. But like, I don't know what this is, but that's cool. I want to explore all these little places. That's a lot of fun. And then you can see on some sides, some of the maps, the market is in a different spot than on other maps. Doesn't really affect anything. I'm just sort of pointing it out. And map E is the winter map. This one's really cool. It's all snowy. Big tower here. Is this like a giant, like a big nest with giant eggs in it, like dragon eggs or something? Oh, maybe there's like a dragon skull. It kind of looks like. I don't know what that is, but that's cool. I like this. I like what I'm seeing all over the place. Look at that cave. Yeah, I want to explore all these places. This is cool. All right, let's see map F. What do we got going on here? This one looks more thematically like the art, like just based on the artwork, like more built up. There's more little towns and settlements, big castles, just more buildings painted on the map here. I don't know if that has any gameplay effect at all, but that's just kind of the flavor of this particular map. Looks really good. All right, let's keep going. This is board G. And this one's interesting because this has a big lake in the middle. That's a little unusual. So you can actually walk all the way around it if you wanted to. And what does this say? All land spaces are considered one island. 4 points, I suppose, per lake you control. That's different. There are a couple water spaces down here. I guess this is one big water space. So that's a little bit different. That's cool. I like these sort of canyons here. We haven't seen something like that really that I recall. Yeah, so this one's a little different. And finally, let's flip it over to board H. This one is the most fantastical yet, perhaps. These sort of mushroom-inspired trees. And we've got these giant mushroom plants all over here. But that's really interesting, where it's like these separate trunks that all kind of come together to form like a bundle that looks like a tree. And then these little mounds of stones. This is really cool. I like the way this looks. The color palette's a little bit different, more muted, or aquas and into the purples. And I like that. I like that a lot. I like the variety of even if the maps were the same, I like the different color palettes just to kind of fit whatever mood I'm feeling when I'm playing it. That's really cool. I don't know if I'd call it a pyramid or a ziggurat, but that's really cool looking. All right, let's put that away. And so now's the part of the video where I am going to go through all those components that I had previously set aside. I'm going to go through them on my own, quickly sort them, organize them, put my hands on them, figure out what they're like, and then I'll time lapse that whole thing. And then you can watch me go through that pretty quickly and then enjoy the benefit of my first takes afterwards. So once I've kind of figured out what all this stuff is, I'll tell you what I think of the components, how I stored them, any surprises that I found along the way. So sit back and enjoy the time lapse, and I'll see you on the other side. Here we go. And I'm back. So I think the gameplay is going to be fun, but as far as unboxings went, that was sort of a painful experience. Let me show you partially why. So in the front, there is a list of components. This is not a complete list of components. There's a couple things that are a little bit baffling. It says 90 cards, but there's more than 90 cards, and in part because it says places expansion cards, 18. There's 18 per board. There's really 9 per board face, and there are 8 board faces in here. So maybe this was written, I don't know if the retail version of the game comes with only one game board, in which case you would have 18 cards, but I had 4 times that many cards. And then this was a little bit tricky too. On page 12, there's additional components for the volcano and economy expansions, which are not listed here. There's a note down here that says volcano and other things are back here. So those are there. Simultaneous mode has more components here, and solo mode has more components here. And so I was kind of flipping around the whole time trying to piece together what the heck all of this stuff is. And again, I have not read through the whole rule book, so maybe I have missed something, but the rules for each of these many modular expansions seem pretty scant. There's like a little thing here that just kind of tells you very briefly what each one is. So like trade tokens adds valuable trade tokens on the map that you can claim. Okay, that's what that expansion does. That's like a good reminder for me to what do I want to play it today? But then setup has all these bullet points for expansions. So we'll just stick with that one. Shuffle the trade tokens face down and place them on the map in various regions face up. No region can contain more than one token, but you can place them anywhere, even in C spaces. Okay, so that kind of tells you how to set it up. You got to go find what the trade tokens are, do what it said, set it up. As for the rules, then you've got to come back here to expansion rules and find trade tokens for a third time now. If you control a space with a trades token at the end of the game, claim the token and add it to your trades total when calculating victory points. If tied, no one claims a token. Okay. But yeah, there's just a lot of flipping around to try and kind of figure out how all this stuff works. And I wish each expansion was a little consolidated. Even if it was a second book, just one page, there's everything you need to know about trade tokens, everything you need to know about mountains, everything you need to know about airships, whatever. Maybe that's a nitpick on my part, but definitely flipping through to find all the components was a bit of a challenge. And then I guess let me go through the components here. So the tuck boxes, it's nice that they're labeled. I did my best to stick to doing what it said. Let's start with this one, places, because it's the most straightforward. This is for the places expansion. This is the one where the rulebook says there's 18 cards, but it's really 18 per board. So one really great thing they did was on all the base game cards, there's no text right here, and then every expansion has a little just text right there in that same spot that tells you what expansion it is. So places, the first 9 cards here say places A, and these are, I pointed out that picture, for example, these are locations on the board. You can see that one's, there it is, right there. Like that's that location. If you have that location, then this. So there's 9 for board A and 9 for board B, and so on for all of the boards. So this is just cards for this one expansion. So those fit in there. Looks like there'd probably be room if you wanted to sleeve them. I don't know that I'm going to sleeve this game. I don't think it's really needed, but that's that one. Let's look at this one. Base cards and score pad. This would have been a better place to start. So I already showed you the score pads. They're in there. And then there are base cards, 37. There's 37 base cards here, so you can see there's no text to the left of the icon boxes. So here's these cards. These are the ones that'll be sort of on offer in the little market. You can acquire them. I don't exactly remember the gameplay details. I don't know if the top left, if that's cost or if that's, I don't think it's cost. No, because the cost is determined by the market. So I think these are trade items that you have, and you're trying to get like majorities of certain trade items. So anyway, those are the base game cards. They're in this box with score pads. Next, we have a few upgrades in here. Or not upgrades, expansions. So I did dive into my own box of extra baggies. I bagged a lot of stuff up. I've got a ton of leftover bags over here, but they weren't like uniform sizes or sizes that made sense for what I was trying to do. But for the upgrades expansion, you have these 10 upgrades tokens ranging from -2 to +2. But there are 10 tokens like that. And as you gain upgrade cards, you can assign these values to, I remember seeing this when I was looking at the boards here. It's like here's the different trade items, and you can, make certain items worth more or less as you play. So, the stuff that you're trying to get, you make it worth more. The stuff your opponents are collecting, you make it worth less. But we have, let's see, this is specialties, is number of cards. Specialties expansion. Upgrades expansion, number of cards. And values expansion, and then feuds. The feuds expansion is just one card, and it's either feuds or the other side is fierce feuds. So the upgrades expansion is the one that uses these tokens. So that's what's in this box. It's just a number of cards, not all that many. There's plenty of room in that box. And then this plastic baggie. I might have arranged this stuff differently if the boxes weren't labeled. It sort of takes a little of the flexibility out, but that's okay. Let's go to this one. Trade tokens, sea serpents, simultaneous, and solo modes. So this one, if you had the sea serpent tokens, they would fit. But because I've got the upgraded wooden components, I'm going to have to store these separately. But we've got here Sea Serpents expansion has some cards. Sea Serpents cards. And then these rival cards, these are the cards you use for solo mode. So I've put these together in the box. These tokens are used for simultaneous play. So instead of taking turns, everyone sort of takes their turns at the same time. But that kind of affects how the market works. I don't really know the mechanics of it, but to play this, you're going to need this first player token, double-sided, and these double-sided, one for each player cost tokens. They're all the same. So I assume the market just works a little bit differently in simultaneous mode, but the intent is to speed up gameplay. And what else did I say is in here? Trade tokens, which are these. So these are cardboard punch-outs, and there are 14 of them. And they're double-sided, Oh, the pots are a bad example. All the rest of them that are not pots, I have like, this is swords on one side and shirts on the other. And swords and shirts are always paired together. So we'll put those back in there. So there's trade tokens, simultaneous play components, sea serpent cards, and solo cards. So we'll put this stuff in here. And I'm just not going to be able to fit the sea serpents, the tokens. So I'm going to store them separately. But here's a couple sea serpents, and they're really cool. They do have some screen printing on them, and the screen printing on these is a little bit of like a, I don't know if you can tell, but like a metallic light blue. It looks really cool. Sort of like the gold foil here. It's the same type of thing, but a light blue. So they would sit, in the water. They look really great. And then everything that was, these are metallic, but the rest of these tokens are all screen printed, and they're all double-sided, which is really nice. I appreciate that. And then for comparison, here are some sea serpent tokens. These are the cardboard ones, so I'm sure they would still look great on the game board like that. I am taking all of the cardboard components that I have upgraded and just throwing them in this giant bag for now. I'll hold on to them, but I'll store them separately from the game box. Just like I have a giant shoebox full of little baggies like this, I've got another shoebox full of game components that are sort of like extras. So that's what this box is, and the sea serpents are going to be separate. We have one more. Exploration, mountains, shrines, airships, and volcanoes. And so I've left a couple of these out for you to see. So here is the volcano. That is a double-sided cardboard punch-out, and then this is the upgraded, I guess wooden meeple type volcano token. So that's what that looks like. And then there are a bunch of these lavas. I want to say there were 25 of these. They're double-sided. And then here are my wooden upgrades. There's the lava flows. A little bit small. These are the only wooden pieces that do not have any sort of screen printing on them. But they're nice. So these, punch outs I'll store separately in that big bag. Here's the rest of the lava flows though, and then I'll put the volcano in here as well. So that is an expansion, the volcano expansion with lava. There's a shrines expansion. So this is what the shrine tokens cardboard look like, and the wooden, again, silk screenings on both sides. These are the same on both sides. So there's a number of those. All the wooden components are really nice. I've got one small issue. We'll get to it, but it's mostly just a me thing. And I do like these. All right, so here's the mountains. Again, double-sided. That's what they look like. Here's what these look like. Very nice. All of the wooden components. Very happy with. Really like the double-sided silk screening. That pleases me every time that I see that. The airships are super cool. This is what the punch-outs and the meeple sort of tokens look like. These let you like rapid travel across the map. I like those a lot. I don't think I'm going to bother putting those in the bag, just the two of them. And then finally, what else is in here? Exploration. These exploration tokens all get, shuffled up face down, and then they're revealed as you play, and you get resources, or they count as trade items. So there's a bunch of those, I think 20 maybe. There's no upgrade for those. These are just cardboard punch-outs, and I think that's just fine. Put those in this baggie. So all of those components, I'm going to try my best to now fit into this box. And I'll try and put the biggest stuff first. So the volcano piece is the biggest. Got to get the mountains in there. And shrines are sizable. I don't know about this. I drop the airships in there separate. And then we'll do the shrines, and then maybe the cardboard punch. Maybe I can fit the cardboard tokens, the exploration tokens. So they're a little smaller. Maybe I can get those in there and put the shrines on top. Feel compelled to use these boxes the way that they're labeled. That is going to be close. but it'll fit. Little bit bulging, but that's okay. Other stuff. There's this like clay pot token. It's double-sided, same on both sides. It's a punch out, and it was hard to find this. This was kind of buried in the rule book, but I did eventually find it here. In this little call-out box here, it says, "Note, this clay pot is an extra token, and you may throw it away or use it for homebrew variants." So I guess I'll just keep it in the box, and that's for if I'll put this with the other cardboard components. I don't know that I've got any homebrew ideas for this game yet. And then the last thing, we'll look at the money tokens. So there are your 10s, your 5s, and your singles, your 1s. These are very clear to me, the denominations. Let's get the metal coins. The weight of the metal coins is fantastic. The feel is great. Sleeping Gods, that's some of my favorite metal coins. That's probably a game that turned me into a metal coin person. But looking at these, I'll show you both sides here. I need another 10. Like I said, the weight is good. The feel is good. I find the 5s and the 10s are too close in size in the metal to easily tell the difference. Now, these say 10 and 5, so that makes it really clear quickly. These, you'll notice this one, maybe you can see, has one little circle on it. This one has, or a little ring. This has 5, and this has 10. I kind of think of that as the tails side. And it's like a couple of waves with like one moon over the waves, 5 moons and 10 moons, something kind of like that. That side I can tell the difference. The other side, it looks to me like a landmass coming out of the water, and then a boat sailing on the water, and then a sea serpent coming out of the water. But when these are all mixed up in different orientations, it can be kind of hard to tell what the heck you're looking at. So I think the 5s and 10s are a little bit too close, in my opinion. If I just dump some out here, some of these that are, just depends on which side is up. Like I can tell the difference or not, but it's just, I don't know, a little close. I'm going to use them because I like the way they feel. I like the way they sound. I like metal coins, but it seems like maybe it would have been easier to just put 10 and 5, just like they did on the cardboard ones. But I'm going to set these aside. And what else? Yeah, the last thing was the player components, and this was a little tricky too. So I've got 4 bags of player components here, and they're correct. They're the wooden components. And this says in each color you should have 35 people, 12 boats, 8 houses, and 3 towers. Let's take out yellow here. Dump some of these out. I can show you what some of those components look like. So these are people. There's no silk screening on any of these, or screen printing. I never know what it's called, but not on any of these. So these are just little rounded rectangles. These are your people. They hang out here on the map. Your boats, little sailboats. Love those. Those are great. Here is a house. Houses look like this. And then here's your tower. You've got 3 towers. So these components are all good. You have the right quantities of these. But where it got confusing was the economy expansion. So you got to flip back here. Says when you play with the economy expansion, then for each player color, they get 15 extra people, 4 extra boats, 5 square markers, and 4 economy boards. I thought there was something else. People, boats. You don't get any extra houses? Oh, yeah, 6 extra houses. 6 houses, 15 people, 4 boats, plus 5 square markers. So I took those pieces and I bagged them up separately and then put them in this bag so that I don't accidentally grab the wrong bag. This is the economy stuff. This is the regular stuff. And I'll show you some of this real quick. So these square markers are not something that are in here. I notice on economy you don't get any extra towers. And I was just briefly reading through it. It sounds like when you play the economy expansion, you use 2 game boards side by side and you're playing on 2 giant maps. But the 5 square markers are markers for these 5 tracks, and you can move your markers up the tracks. That's what these are certainly for. These are the economy boards, but never had this happen before. I had a handful of wooden pieces sort of sticking to each other, and that's fairly common. But these 2 yellow people are like welded together. I cannot get these apart for the life of me. Man, they're stuck. So I might try with like some pliers. I think the sorting machines counted this as 1 piece. So I've got 1 extra if I can separate those. Should have 15 in here, 15 people. Let's check again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. This would be 16. I've got to separate these 2 somehow. And I just can't get those apart. They're like, oh man. That's like they're permanently stuck. I don't know if it's really worth it to reach out to Red Raven to ask for a replacement. It's just sort of one of those things that happens. But, a lot of times these pieces stick together and you just apply like a little bit of pressure and they usually like snap apart and then it's no big deal, which was the case in a few other pieces. But I've never seen this before. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. So I'll leave that out as a reminder to myself to try and fix it. So in the meantime, I'm going to put this back in here with the other extra components for the economy game mode, which it's kind of funny with all these little modular expansions. The difference in the scales. The feud expansion is 1 card, not even 1 per player, just 1 card total. And economy is like all these boards and all these extra pieces, and you need a ton of coins. The regular game, you only need 31 coins and 18 5 coins. The economy expansion adds 36 10 value coins, so another $360 into the game economy. Seems like quite a swing. Get rid of all these extra bags, save them for use another time, and let's pack this thing up. So, it doesn't really matter which box you put where. But you can fit them in this configuration I found, and that's kind of going to give you the biggest well here to be able to put something else. So that's probably where I want to put my sea serpents. They'll be pretty protected there. I don't think I can fit coins or anything else. I'm just going to put my sea serpents there. I think that's fine. All the rest of the boxes are here. And then the next thing you're going to add is these game boards, which makes it a little tough to get the boards out. I like the boards being on top, but because there's 4 quad fold boards, it's like that's a lot of cardboard. It's super thick. It would have been nice if they had a what game was that I was just looking at recently in my collection that had that? Undaunted Callisto 2200. I don't know. It's a long title. I don't know what order those words go in, but Undaunted 2200 Callisto had 4, maybe 5 boards, and the corner was like cut out on all of them, so you can easily get your finger in there to get the boards out. It would have been nice if there's something like that here, because as it is now, I'm going to put these boards in, and there's still like a lot of depth there, so when I'm ready to play and I want to take these boards out, I'm going to really have no choice but to tip the box and grab them, and then this stuff's going to do that. As I'm setting up the game, I guess that's not too bad, because I'm going to be taking this stuff out anyway, but not my favorite solution. I really did a number on the table clock there. Okay. So now that that's there, I can put the economy boards and any other loose bags that I've got. So all this, I guess, let's put the booklet there so it doesn't get smushed. There's the economy boards, the other economy components, my metal coins, and 4 bags of player components. And that just fits where I can get this lid on there without any lid lift. My goodness, I got to fix this cloth. Okay, there we go. I could not live in such disarray. But that is my unboxing of Six Sojourns. It's not fair to completely judge the rulebook yet because I haven't really sat down and read through it and tried to play. But it was not a good introduction to the rulebook, if I'm being 100% honest. And it made it kind of hard to organize the components in here. But I think the game is still going to be really fun to play. And now that that initial band-aid is off, I have to say I am still really excited to learn how to play this game. And I cannot begin to tell you how busy I am right now, but this does seem like with all these mini expansions, it's screaming for a series of rules refresher videos. So I'm just going to put a pin in that right now. If that's something you're interested, leave a like on this video. Maybe let me know in the comments, and perhaps that's something I can get to in 2026. And I would definitely like to get this game on the channel too. It's I've got quite the backlog right now, but if you'd like to see that, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it, because I do intend to get this on the channel next year. And again, I probably should have said this up top, but I purchased this game myself through crowdfunding. It was not provided to me by Red Raven or anything, but I'm a big fan of Red Raven, and I do want to say that I think I'm about to go to PAX Unplugged 2025. What year is it? 2025. I'm going to PAX Unplugged at the end of this week at time of recording, and I know they're going to have some copies of this there. I actually probably could have gotten it a little bit cheaper than I paid for it through crowdfunding, because I wouldn't have had to pay for the shipping. But there are a few copies of this out there. If this is something you're interested in, they probably are selling it on their web store as well. I don't know if there's retail versions available, but since crowdfunding just ended, if you're watching this video right when it comes out, there are probably leftover deluxe copies available to purchase from somewhere. So you can take a look on the marketplace for that if that's something you think you might want to do. Doesn't really matter to me one way or another, I guess, but just letting you know that it's out there. Having not yet played, I can't really give a recommendation one way or the other, but I am excited for it for what that's worth. So anyway, I hope you found this helpful. That's what I've got this time. Thank you so much for watching Table for One, and I will see you in the next video. Take it easy.